Happy New Year. Happy 2024. I hope you have an amazing year. And it's the perfect time of year for these new promptings and new ideas and new visions, new glimpses of your new life to begin to come to you and appear in your mind in the form of ideas and things that you'd like to have in your life. It may come as simple as, I'd like to get to know that person more. Or I'd like to have more of this in my life, more abundance or more love or, more joy in my life. I think it'd be fun to hang out and have more of a community, or do more, whatever it is, do more of this activity, do more dancing or go to more live music or, whatever you're drawn to, things that you're drawn to, ideas, things that you'd like to have for yourself. Those I'm going to call for this video, I'm going to call those promptings. Okay, so it's a natural time. Promptings are always happening, but it's especially fertile time for promptings on the medicine wheel. Okay, so now the thing that I want to talk about in relation to these promptings is, unfortunately, the thing that we often experience right after we have one of these really cool promptings is this limiting belief or limitation, this thing that comes in, or fear that comes up and tells us why we can't have that prompting. Okay, and it's based on our old belief systems, and it's like so what would be some examples? So it's like, if I want to go meet somebody new, it's like, people like that don't like people like me. Or, my boss won't, if I share my new idea with my boss, she won't like it and she'll tell me that, it's not my place to have ideas. I should just go do my job, and notice that there's this future-based theme to these things. Fears are always future-based. Fear-based belief systems are the same way. Like, if I do this, this will happen. They're always based on that. As if I'm honest with my significant other, he, she, or they will leave me, or they will lose respect in me for me, which is actually probably the opposite of what's true. But or if I'm honest with my kids, they'll hate me, or if whatever it is, it's like, so that's kind of the idea of what these belief systems are. Now, I want to point out a few what I'm going to call fallacies of these belief systems. Okay, the first fallacy is that we are very different now than when these belief systems were created. Okay, a lot of the things that we created these belief systems around happened a long time ago. These things are getting old. They might have happened in childhood, or they happened in our first marriage, or they happened in this really dark time in our life after college, or they happened during adolescence, and it's like, yet we've preserved them over the years, and now here they are, even though we are totally different. The world is totally different. Our situation is different. Okay, the people around us are different, and yet we make this assumption that the belief system's still going to be true. If I do this, this terrible thing will happen. Okay, and it's really strange how these ideas can become really static. Now, not all ideas have to be static. If we're challenging it and inquiring about it, keeping it fresh, that ideas evolve just like people. Like we evolve, life evolves. Ideas that we challenge evolve. Belief systems, fear-based belief systems are static. We don't challenge them, so they don't evolve. They stay the same. And yet we keep allowing them, often unconsciously, to kind of control whether we act on our promptings or not. The second fallacy is that they're totally self-fulfilling. Okay, so unlike a healthy intention or a prompting, okay, as I'm calling them in this video, when we offer an intention, it goes out. It's like, I would like to have more abundance in my life. Hopefully it'd be more specific than that, as I talked about last week. But that goes out, it interacts with life, and then, the universe starts presenting me doorways and opportunities that allow myself to have more abundance. Okay, and that's the natural way of things. That's how we create things. That's how we, awaken things in our lives. Okay, but what happens is when we're not acting on our prompting and our belief system hijacks our intention, the belief system itself acts as the intention. So then it's like this fear-based belief that it's like, oh, if I speak my truth, people will hate me. That becomes my intention. Unconsciously, I'm not sitting there doing a ceremony saying, oh, I'm going to put out this intention that if I speak my truth, people will hate me. No, we're doing it unconsciously, and then that becomes our intention. So then that intention goes out, interacts with the universe, and what comes back is the reality of that, or we just notice it. It's like, and then we say, see, I knew if I spoke my truth, someone would hate me. I knew. So see, it's true. And so the belief systems, they're kind of wired to self-fulfill themselves because they're not real. They're from a static idea, and then we offered that as our energy, and then that's what comes back. Like attracts like. And so that's what comes back. Versus if we offer a prompting, then something new can come back. So what to do with all this, okay, is that the cool thing is now that you are in a new year and you're having new promptings and you are in a new place, most of you have been working on yourselves in various ways and you're in a new place. And the good thing is only you can drag the old belief systems into your new life. Okay, now we often do this unconsciously, but you have the power and you have the authority to not do that. It's like a bad habit is all it is. We have a new life, but then we drag our old beliefs into the new life unconsciously. But you could decide not to do that. You'd have to pay attention. You'd have to be aware of your tendency to do that. It might create some work, maybe not even that much work, just paying attention, but we can create something new. So one way to kind of do this simply is to just think about it in terms of outcome. Is to think about it in terms of like allowing the outcome to be a total mystery. Like I'm having a prompting, okay? It sounds kind of silly. I'm having a prompting. I'm having an idea. I'm drawn to this person. So I'm going to go over and say hi, okay? And so that's the prompting. And then the belief system comes, oh no, people like that, they don't want to hear from you. They're not going to like you, which is probably based on a really old idea. Who knows? Maybe the cheerleader in high school didn't like me when I went up and said hi to her, and then I drag that into this, however many years later, I don't want to say how many years later. So a long time, and so it's like, but what we can do instead is like, the reality is like, we don't know what's going to happen. Now we do kind of know what's going to happen if we create an intention with our belief system and it self-fulfills itself. Yeah. And that's one of the payoffs, by the way, is we get to know what's going to happen. We get to control our life more unconsciously, but if we act on one of these new promptings, we don't know what's going to happen. If I go say hi to that woman that I'm drawn to, I don't know what's going to happen. If I go offer my new idea to my boss, I don't know what's going to happen. If I'm really, really honest with my significant other, I don't know what's going to happen. So like, why not just acknowledge, just allow it to be a mystery? Then my job is not based on deciding whether or not the outcome will happen. My idea is acting on my prompting. It's like if I have a prompting to go and talk to her or to take the idea to my boss or to take it to my significant other, then let's focus on that and let the chips fall as they may. Let's find out what's going to happen. Now in the past, when I did it, it didn't go well. Well, let's find out if that's still true. My life is totally different. I'm totally different. That person that I'm going to talk to is totally different. So let's find out. Let's let the outcome be a total mystery. By doing that, I've talked about sometimes in ceremony, I am nothing, I know nothing. That's the idea. It's letting go of my preconceptions, letting go of my assumptions, letting go of my belief systems that tell me what is going to happen. And so it's just as like when we go into ceremony, we say, I am nothing, I know nothing. When we go into life and we start act on one of our promptings, we can say the same thing. I am nothing, I know nothing. That the outcome is a total mystery. And that's a little scary. That's a little daunting if I'm used to knowing the outcome because I acted out of my belief systems and from my comfort zone. Then when we act on a prompting and it is a mystery, it's intimidating at first. But after we do it for a while, it starts to get exciting. And then life becomes mysterious and exciting, and we don't have to watch reality, dramatic TV anymore or online shows because our own life becomes a mystery and dramatic, in a good way, And so that is kind of where we can start. Is like it can be really, really simple. Maybe not easy to do, but it can be very simple. I have a prompting. I'm gonna go act on the prompting, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to take some risks, in other words. Okay, now this is taking risks, and it will be scary, perhaps. And it's being willing to challenge that. So that is my video and my blog for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a really amazing new year, and maybe just pay attention to your promptings. And then if you're feeling feisty, act on one of them and see where it goes. See what happens. And then maybe it'll be different than what you thought would happen. Maybe different in a good way. And anyway, I will see you in a week.